It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theaters, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
And Murray, who is a maniac on the floor. And he's dancing like he's never danced before. Hey, Murray.
Yo.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
And dance. And dance. Well, thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/filmrageYYC. All members get special episodes and content only for members, and all members that sign up will get a limited edition Film Rage merch item. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a terrible movie for us to watch, and we will do that. Thanks to all our listeners from all over the world, and to the greatest of all Britons, the Great Britain, who's still our number one listening base for this month. Thank you.
Jolly good. Hey, Bryce, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to my favorite cinema, canyonmeadowscinema, to see the best second-run movies at the best price.
What? How inexpensive are they?
Regular price is $5.
Regular price is $5. Makes me hope they also serve pizza.
They do, plus a lot of other great food choices. Plus, I'm planning my office Christmas party there. They can host a plethora of options for any get-together. Gaming, movie, drag show.
Drag show? Now I know where I'm planning my next party.
Hey, maybe you think there's a Liam Neeson or a superhero movie planned?
I hope not. But maybe there'll be a great independent documentary.
Sure. Call CMC at 403-670-5444 to book a special event, or go online at canyonmeadowscinema.ca.
Now it's time to really dance, Murray. Dance like you've never danced before. Because you know what?
Like a maniac.
We're streaming. We've been streaming. And we've been streaming. And doing well.
Streaming, Jim.
Even Murray did some streaming on the weekend, unfortunately.
Streaming.
Ha.
Ha-ha is right.
Is right.
Arr, we could be pirates.
I third that.
Okay.
Are we going to make a rule here now? I think there's a rule coming. There's a Film Rage rule soon to be made.
Oh, Shudder.
Dum-dum.
With your...
Dumb.
It's a U.S. production from Shudder, and we all know what that's probably going to mean. Now, don't get me wrong. The foreign productions from Shudder are fantastic.
Super fantastic.
Like beyond super
fantastic.
But for some reason, North American... Well, let's talk about it.
No. It's U.S. and Canadian.
Yes, U.S. Canadian.
U.S.
Sorry.
and Canadian dum-dum.
Okay, so we're talking about The Scary of 61st. The Scary of 61st started, and I was encouraged by the cool grittiness of the opening sequence, and then the actors started to deliver their lines. And I realized that this was total crap. As the undercooked conspiracy theories gave way to poorly executed bits of what I can only assume were comedic attempts, in combination with a very poorly executed and rather incompetent final act, this left me wondering what the point was. It is overstuffed with many ideas, and you would think with all of those ideas there would be at least one insight, but alas, there was none. Bad acting, bad script. Made this film come across as amateur hour, or I guess in this case it would be amateur hour and 21 minutes. I would imagine that at some point, director and actor Dasha Nekrasova was telling someone about this idea for a movie. I picture her describing a film about a couple of 20-somethings renting an apartment that was apparently used by Jeffrey Epstein to abuse girls. And then they would find an ominous tarot card. And then it would spiral into a bunch of theories about Epstein's apartment.
Sounds awesome.
Which includes his apartments being 5 blocks apart. So of course, that must represent a pentagram. It is at this point that I wish that whoever she was pitching this idea to would have told her, that is really dumb. That's a dumb idea, and you should not make that film. But apparently that never happened, which eventually led to me watching this conspiracy thriller that was all conspiracy and no thrills. This was a rage.
Oh, baby. You know what? One of the things that I missed the most after our epic episode last week of severe rage was us agreeing on a movie. From moment one, I'm like, the acting needs 3 months of acting coaching and then a budget for sound mix. Although the music is canned and ultimately okay, the entire sound and music mix is not good. But then, once the 3 months of acting coaching was complete, then they should have interviewed again for the cast to see if they would have still made out the same way. I'm guessing they probably wouldn't have. Then there's the dialogue, pacing, direction, shaky camera work, and effects. Yeah, they were all bad. But there was a shining light in this movie, and that was the condo layout. In set design was cool. I mean, after all, having a bedroom that goes into another bedroom, that's cool. And the evil promiscuity, for lack of a better word, was surprising and interestingly not good either. But ultimately, the demon-whoring, ghost-busting sexuality deviant mystery as a genre was quite possibly the most conveniently contrived and terrible thing Shudder has put on its platform. And not to try and quote Bryce, because apparently that's impossible. But this was made in North America. Not the North America shared with Mexico, but the one only with Canada and the US. It just needs to be stated again. Perhaps Murray will also mention this. So, per the course, it's a rage.
Yeah.
And I do have one thing to unpack, and we'll let Murray go first.
10 minutes into this film, I realized 2 things. First, I already saw this. It was one of the 125 films I previewed last summer for the festival, and I remembered it.
That's unfortunate.
Second, it's even worse the second time. There's a reason why no decent film festival would accept this garbage. It's unwatchable. I honestly didn't know who Jeffrey Epstein was, but apparently this film was in really bad taste in exploiting that infamous case.
Yeah, it was.
I can't even come up with 5 words to describe it. Just pure crap. Rage.
How many words was that, Bryce?
3. I couldn't even... Doesn't even deserve 5.
crap.
Pure
Rage.
crap rage. That sums
3.
it up.
That's
That's
3,
actually
yeah.
really good. Yeah, that's good.
That's not bad.
Doesn't even deserve 5 words.
No.
So the only thing I really wanted to unpack in is, what the fuck was this movie? Like, I don't get it. That's all I wanted to say.
It was a film festival reject that Shudder bought for probably pennies.
It was just bad.
Yes, it was.
I don't like it.
It was the poopy.
Should I tee it up?
It was super poopy.
Super poopy. Well, let's talk about something that's not so
Hang on.
poopy.
Rage. Rage. Rage.
All right, there you go.
All right.
We got to see Lucy and Desi on the Prime.
The Prime.
And it's directed by Amy Poehler.
The Amy
Amy
Poehler.
Poehler.
The Amy Poehler. I know.
She do TV stuff?
She does do Stevie's, and she does movie stuff.
I don't know movie stuff.
But you know, you can.
She's in Game Night.
Yeah, she's in Game Night. She's in Sister something with
Isn't
Liz Lemon. She's in a bunch of. She's in a bunch
Are
of
you
movies.
sure?
She was.
She's in a bunch of movies.
Game Night was Jason Bateman and Rachel
Yeah.
McAdams.
Ah, close enough.
Pretty sure she wasn't in that. She was in some Tina Fey crap, I'm sure of that.
Don't you what? You take your words back in your mouth.
Just saying.
You talk about my Liz Lemon that way.
That movie where she was like the
person that was funny. Yeah, that's her thing. So can we talk about Lucy and Desi now?
I guess.
You can feel the love that Amy Poehler has in the film as it unfolds. This film, in my opinion, does a great job of taking these two icons of music, film, and screen and letting us fall in love with them all over again. I loved and laughed again at all the scenes from the amazing show that this is all the center of attention. Seeing this doc brought back nothing but positive memories of sitting around our household, watching our black and white 16-inch tube TV. Yes, that's how old I am.
How old are you, Jim?
I'm super old. I always knew how great and influential Lucille Ball was, but seeing all the first that both of these amazing people were, as they brought television to a whole new level, was a real treat. I was always a big fan of The Lucy Show and her career, and also the band, The Lucy Show. This is a love letter to them, both for fans of the show. I feel people that as they watch this, they'll just have a real positive glow because it's kind of meant that way, being that it's her love letter to them. And I think she worshipped Lucille Ball. And just knowing, obviously it's stock, so it's got a positive spin towards them. We didn't get to hear any of the bad, only the good. Yeah, I was laughing and smiling all the way through this film, except for a couple of Cuban dance moves, of course. I love this stock, and I want to see what Amy does next. Hopefully she does a thing on Carol Burnett. It was Mondo.
What say you, Murray?
Okay. Well, Jim invited me over to watch this because I don't have Prime.
The Prime,
whatever. I also loved Lucy and what was it called? Lucy and Desi show?
Lucy and Desi.
What was it called?
Lucy and Desi.
No, I mean
I Love Lucy.
No, I mean the TV show.
I Love Lucy.
I Love
That's
Lucy.
it. I love Lucy.
It's real simple.
Although I'm not as old as you, all of my TV was actually in color.
What?
Unless it was a black and white show. I do watch Andy Griffith too. That was
Leave It to Beaver was always in black and white, the way it was supposed to be.
There you go. See, he knows TV.
Andy Griffith?
He's lying. This movie was full of fun facts. I didn't know about this power couple from the 50s.
Yeah.
I actually thought Desi Arnaz was just some bongo player from Cuba that rode on Lucille Ball's coattails for years. Turns out he was actually a shrewd businessman and a powerful TV producer.
So you were wrong, Murray.
I was
dead wrong.
Pleasantly surprised. Even though they were only married for 20 years, they remained an important part of each other's lives forever. This film was sweet, sappy, filled with funny moments from the classic TV show, and a variety of star-studded interviews. But this film did drag on a little bit. It was a loving tribute by first-time director Amy Poehler, almost worthy of a Mondo. Just a meh.
All right. Yeah. And Bryce was letting us smell his armpits.
I don't know what he was doing there.
He's got something to say.
Yeah. Lucy and Desi. The film covers a lot of ground and does it competently. From humbling beginnings to superstardom, we follow the paths of Lucy and Desi as they come together and take over Hollywood. The use of audio tapes exclusive to this project, combined with home movie footage and archival clips, tells the story of the couple through triumph and tragedy as never seen before. There's definitely a great affection from filmmaker Amy Poehler as she examines the life of one of her heroes, Lucille Ball. As such, it becomes a bit of a puff piece, but that is okay as it is well executed. The right notes are hit as she interviews family, friends, and colleagues. It is a touching tribute. By the end, I definitely felt I had greater understanding of the subjects than when the film started. This was really quite good for a puff piece, but it was still a little too sugary for my taste.
What?
It was meh.
What I suspected you would say.
Wow.
Still worth watching. Huh?
You know what? Here's the thing. if it's of a subject matter, to your point of a puff piece, where you absolutely love those people, then I can't help but fall in love with the actual.
Yeah,
talk.
I mean, it's obvious.
And for me,
she didn't want to bring up anything dark about the.
Well,
I mean, they obviously had their dark moments.
Yeah, there was,
but they didn't really explore them.
They could have touched on a lot of Desi's alcohol and drug use, and they kind of minused him out of the picture. Yeah. But ultimately, the message of Lucy being such a leader for women in television is the message that you're going to come back with, and to say, obviously she had that much of a positive influence on Amy's life. So,
because without Lucille Ball, there's no Carol Burnett.
I'm okay.
There's
seeing Carol Burnett talk about anything.
Yeah, that was cool.
And seeing the scene. Okay, so this is the best part for me as we're watching it. And there's a scene in I Love Lucy where she comes out and she's got these, looks like it was curtains into her dress. I'm like, that's totally where Carol Burnett ripped that scene off that Carol Burnett's more known for. So it was kind of funny to see, like, wow, even there she's influencing her.
Yeah, no, she influenced a whole generations of female comics. So there you go.
Yep.
The doc was fine.
It was fantastic because I loved it.
I'm glad I watched it.
I cried a bit, I laughed a bit, and I smiled all the way through.
And I watched it with a stone face.
Because you're stone cold Bryce.
But I still liked it okay.
All right. Well, let's
move
go to the cinemas, and because this is where things are really going to get crazy.
Some darker subject matters.
Oh yeah. We got some new cinema music tonight, just to get into the groove.
Just to change it up.
It feels like I want to smoke a bowl while I listen to this music, though.
Until this show's over. All right. Jim and I went to see on a Friday afternoon
The Batman.
I went to see it too.
On a Thursday.
Yeah,
that's
not with us.
It's for boring people.
I saw
Thursdays.
it before you guys saw it.
It's did. That's nothing to brag about, knowing what the movie is.
Well, the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham. Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his own family's involvement. I guess the question is, do we really need another Batman movie?
Sure.
No,
absolutely not.
I think we did. Especially if it's done a little different.
Excluding TV shows or animated versions, this is the 10th Batman film since 1966. They also included Suicide Squad and Joker, which didn't really include the character.
True enough.
The Batman is not the Batman movie we need. Maybe if we hadn't had Ben Affleck brooding through various Snyder cuts like the human embodiment of a contract obligation.
He was so good.
The Batman is the Batman movie we deserve, though. Dark and brooding and too long-winded, just like most millennials. It's good enough to wish it were better. A classic superhero story that sells out in favor of providing cheap thrills. It turned the world's greatest detective into a clueless, bumbling cop in a rubber suit. When has a Dark Knight ever showed up at a crime scene afterwards like he was Gil Grissom? That's a CSI reference for you TV folks.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
His Batmobile was a joke. Bruce Wayne is a billionaire and he drives a $40,000 souped-up Dodge Charger. Didn't even have any gadgets. Then again, neither did his Bat utility belt. Pattinson definitely got the brooding part right, but not much else. And what the hell was Colin Farrell doing in this film? If you don't read credits, you wouldn't even be able to tell it was him. They could have cast any other actor, maybe somebody closer in size and appearance to save the thousands of dollars in makeup they had to use on him.
I agree with you there.
I was looking forward to this and was completely disappointed.
Oh, no.
I like Superman better anyway. Rage.
Wow.
Nice.
I think we're going to have possibly a rage sandwich because I'm not going to give it a rage. Spoiler alert. All right, there is so much about the Batman that I loved. I loved how Robert Pattinson played the Caped Crusader. I thought he was very, very good. I loved the performance of Paul Dano as the Riddler. I thought he was fantastic.
I think Paul Dano is always fantastic.
I loved the look of the film. I loved the score as it pulsated through every scene. I love the fact that this 3-hour movie did not seem like a 3-hour movie. It breezed by for the most part, and it probably could have ended at a few points towards the last 30 minutes, but whatever. All in all, I was enjoying this quite a bit. That is up until the arena scene where it got a little silly.
It got silly then?
Yeah, and the way the flooding happened had me a little confused. And how did Catwoman's motorcycle not get washed away by the flood? Where did she park it? Also, could we have not gotten someone else to play the Penguin instead of putting Colin Farrell in a fat suit with copious amounts of makeup and rubber on his face? Why not cast someone like Vincent D'Onofrio, who could have just slipped right into the role with little modification? If you require an actor to don a fat suit to play the role, then you should get another actor. Anyways, I suppose this can be summed up in the same way that every superhero movie can be summed up. It was a superhero movie, so it was meh.
That is a rule for you. It's true. Rules were made to be broken. Well, to start, I want it to be said that I am a huge fan of Robert Pattinson. Jeffrey Wright, Andy Serkis, John Turturro, Peter Skarsgård, and Colin Farrell. The cast in this was outstanding.
What about Paul Dano?
Yeah, I already said that while you were talking. That Paul Dano is excellent in everything. And we're going to be talking about Paul Dano a little later in the show.
All right.
I also didn't mind Zoe Kravitz and what we got to see of her. I also like the shooting style and the lighting. All the darkly lit shots were great. Backdrops to a Batman film. It completely fit what we should see for a Batman. But this is not the undoubted Christopher Nolan Batman. And if you all remember my comments from a couple of months ago, I said, all you superhero stories, expect it to be a rage unless you give me something new and original. This was an original Batman movie. It was not anything new though, but it was new to be back to the Batman detective days. You know, when Batman was a detective, not a superhero. So if you look at this more as a detective story and not like a superhero movie, that's what I think I'm going to do right now. Well, we got a little bit of the Saw franchise. We got a little bit of the Seven franchise. Like, what's in the box? Or as Batman said, what did you do? And then we got a little bit of Batman. Take your pick, which one? The detective side was contrived and convenient and underwhelming. Nothing new in detective land, except most detective films aren't 3 hours long and take forever to end. This film was slow and dark, which normally I love, but not if it's rated PG dark, which this was. It wasn't even PG-13. I mean, he says, I'm vengeance. And then the bad guys are like, what? How? What are we? We're frightened because you might punch us a little bit harder than you would someone else. So as a superhero movie, this film was not only not better than any other superhero movie I've seen, and as a detective story, it was even worse because apparently no one, and I mean no one in this movie except Batman, seems to have a clue as how to solve everything. Basically, he wanders around finding clues. The Riddler leaves him conveniently and he's overly supportive by his cop man, Jimbo Gordon.
The Riddler does.
Follows along, just happy to be in his shadow. This had nothing to give Robert Pattinson anything to work with. It was just unfortunate because I think if you can directly compare Nolan's films to this film, you get way more character built. There was no character builds in this at all. And I just think it didn't give any of these fantastic actors a chance to shine. We get partially developed characters, partially formed subplots, which I found that midway through, I didn't even care what the story was. And I started looking at my watch way too soon into this 3-hour mess of a reboot.
I thought it went breezed by.
So as predicted, but wishing differently, superhero movies are still a rage. And so is the Batman.
I was right. It's a rage sandwich.
It is a rage sandwich.
With
this movie
Matt in the middle.
But you probably thought I would like it.
I didn't really.
I am pretty lenient when it comes to superhero movies.
He
but
is pretty
I'm
lenient.
fact that
surprised
they-
he gave it a rage.
They basically slapped
I was angry.
Bob Kane in the face with all of his. All
This
of
is-
his-
You're being
it just-
overly dramatic.
First
No,
off,
I'm
you
not.
can't make a Batman movie that's fucking PG. I'm sorry. That is the first rule of Batman.
no,
He's dark
they-
and brooding.
They did. I just watched it
I
on
know,
Thursday.
and that's
Well, then they
why
shouldn't
that's another
have.
reason why it's a rage. I don't mind the fact that Batman's like this is 2 years into he is the Batman.
No,
so I get the fact that the gadgets aren't there and his car isn't
No,
there. I get your point. He's a billionaire and he's driving a
the main
Ford
point
Charger.
that I
though.
got from your description, though, is basically the Riddler left him clues.
Oh yeah,
And he was not able to outwit or outthink the Riddler.
No,
that is not the Batman that I know.
no. Your point's well taken. Murray. That's what I'm saying. This was
Batman should have eventually been able to
conveniently-
figure stuff out and been a step ahead of him.
It's just conveniently dropped clues that Batman's just supposed to find. It was like I was watching like a Hardy Boys episode from TV from the 1980s,
70s.
and I'm like, okay, so they're just gonna go to another scene, and there's gonna be another clue the Riddler gives him, and he's gonna go, look, I found a clue because nobody else could find it, and then I'll go to another clue and find that, and then I'll go to the. This was really, 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 really awful. And I love
all
Robert Pattinson, and I love every single one of the actors in here. They should be all embarrassed.
As Batman, he did a decent
No.
job. As the character Bruce Wayne Batman, I
Yeah,
liked him.
I wish there was more of it.
I just
it
didn't
was
like.
just
I didn't like anything else in the
no,
movie.
no. This
It was-
movie,
It was fine. It was meh.
no, it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was completely awful. Go watch the Christopher Nolan
Yes.
trilogy.
Or
They're
Michael
all Mondo.
Keaton. Thank you very much.
Or even Batman and Robin with Arnold Schwarzenegger was better than
No, it
I will
wasn't.
agree
this.
with
Yeah,
that.
I will absolutely agree.
Absolutely not.
I would see that in a heartbeat. At least that was funny.
Even the Jim Carrey Riddler was better.
That's
no,
right.
oh God.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you,
it was.
Jim Carrey. Plus, the
Thank
music on
you,
that one was
Jim
better.
Carrey.
I'm sorry. You're saying the Jim Carrey Riddler was better than Paul Dano's Riddler?
Yes.
You're freaking insane.
I'm saying that.
You are
Okay.
absolutely. I
I have to draw the line.
Yeah,
I
you are-
think
you
Paul
are-
Dano's amazing in everything.
Yeah. There's
But,
absolutely no.
and he was
way.
really good.
He was.
I think Jim
fantastic.
Carrey, the movie that Jim Carrey was in was a comedy. It's a completely different Batman story.
Yeah.
But it was funny, and this was none of those things.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
true. It
was
was
all
way
right.
Okay.
too serious.
Well,
Never mind
let's
it.
mix it up and let's go see a cuff movie.
Cuff.
Off the cuff.
Off the
Calgary
cuff
Underground
event.
Film Fest had
Thank
an
you
off
to
the
our
cuff
friends
event.
at Cuff for putting this on.
After Yang.
And they're you can check out everything Cuff, by the way, at calgaryundergroundfilm.org. And for those of you living in Alberta,
Southern Alberta.
get down here in April when their festival's on.
Festival starts in
Yep.
a month and a bit.
Okay, tell us about After Yang.
All right. After Yang, written and directed by Kaganada.
That's pretty good.
Is an original look at the future. It opens up with one of the most entertaining sequences I have seen in recent memory as families compete in a sort of dance-off while being scored and henceforth eliminated by some overseeing judge.
So good.
It is the most fun I've had watching the opening credits of any film ever. The story is basically family purchases refurbished Android to babysit and teach their daughter. Android becomes part of the family. Android breaks. Father has to try to find someone to fix Android, as the warranty has expired. Tea is consumed and discussed.
Much tea.
Digital memories are recalled. Relationships are examined. Clifton Collins Jr. shows up for
Yes,
a few
he
scenes.
does.
And we are left with much to think about by the end of the film. Jake, Kira, Mika, and Yang, who is a techno-sapien,
Techno-sapien.
are a fascinating family to observe. Jake is perhaps the most fascinating as we watch Colin Farrell inhabit this man who is cautious and uncertain and frustrated and solemn all at the same time. This is the best, and I absolutely mean this. This is the best that I have ever seen Farrell.
Yeah.
It is a brilliant, subtle performance that completely blew me away. The film asks a lot of questions about family and reliance on technology and corporations and grief, and does it all in a powerful, moving way. It is not preachy. It provides no clear answers to the questions it raises. It is a thoughtful and enthralling science fiction film with a ton of heart and a great cast. After Yang was Mondo.
So, after Yang, this film takes the emotions of our technobots from Blade Runner and evolves this universe to a whole new level. This is ultimately a story of love, loss, grief for a valued family member who had touched so many lives before them. The final words spoken in this film tell us so much. I want to be a melody, but perhaps it's the harmony that makes our sound and lives more rich. Needs to be spoken. As Bryce had mentioned, the opening 5 minutes of this film could have been the most funny and joyful scene ever from a movie that's ever been produced, where pure, unconditional love and joy are expressed through a family dance-off, and then we get from pure joy to pure sorrow in the blink of an eye. This film was a new look at the future of humanity, science, love, and grief, and so much more. It's culturally diverse and deepens family and what family means and what it could mean in the future. If I had any complaints, it would be Kogonada, our director, has the tendency to put, in my opinion, important shots just outside of vision scope for a part of the shot and then zooms in halfway through, which I found took away some of the emotions of the shot. He did it about 5 or 6 times and I'm like, dude, just show us what's happening. But outside of that one small point, this film made me cherish my family even more. And the next time I drink my tea, I am going to see if I can smell and taste the earth within it. I loved the quietness and introspective of each character in this film. And oh yeah, this film was also Mondo.
Wasn't it though?
I just couldn't believe. Well, we'll talk about it once Murray's talked. I don't think he's going to love it as much as we did because it's very, very slow. It's a slow movie. Yeah, it's not Murray's movie.
It's like you know me or something.
I do know you.
So, first 10 minutes were highly entertaining.
Yes, they were.
The whole Dance Dance Revolution scene was hilarious.
Yes, it was.
It was,
and it made me think this would be a lighthearted film.
No, it wasn't.
And then the rug was pulled from out.
It was not. I even had hope and I thought there was a government conspiracy involving spyware and evil corporations.
You do love spyware.
That wasn't it either.
Nope.
What we got instead was a warm-hearted, touchy-feely family film about a sad little girl whose robot sibling dies. Good performances all around, many beautiful visuals. The dialogue is stilted and the pacing is slow.
So slow.
The filmmaker was very fond of wide shots and shooting scenes through objects, as Jim had mentioned.
I love that.
I am not.
I am not a fan of that either.
Plus, we were in the back row and I was not wearing my glasses. So, yeah.
Well, you can't actually see what's happening. To me,
it's like he was afraid of close-ups.
Yeah. Well, but he did get close-ups.
Not as many as he probably should.
No, that's the only fault I had for him.
I had a big problem with that.
How big was this?
The good outweighs the bad. This is a film I liked but didn't really love. So yeah, it was a meh.
You know what? Good for you, Murray.
I didn't hate it.
Because this is.
And yeah, Colin Farrell was outstanding.
This is a very heavy drama.
It is
heavy drama, and this reads like a book for me and Bryce. It's like you could predict this from a mile away that we were going to love this movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
But as soon as I knew that we went from Dance Dance Revolution, as Murray calls it, to Dread-olution.
What a bait and switch, though.
I know. I'm just like, I
thought we were going to, all of a sudden, I'm like, is this going to be like a wacky comedy? And then all of a sudden, that's a 180.
And you and I were literally laughing solid for 7 minutes.
Oh, it was so good.
And
I heard you.
And nobody else, everybody in the theater was looking at it. I'm like, how are you not liking this?
They thought you guys were stoned.
It was so funny.
I was stoned on humor.
The whole theater, which was actually packed, was looking at you guys because you were laughing your
It
asses
was
off.
so funny.
it was so good.
But yeah, the laughter died pretty quick.
It did indeed.
It went from
And yeah, we learned
And
a
it
new
was
term.
still
We learned a new
fantastic.
term, techno-sapien.
Techno-sapien. I'm so happy about it. You know what? As we're watching this, like it's such an original concept, but there is so much influence. Like if you think of Blade Runner, the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking
Oh, yeah.
Blade Runner,
There's
right?
some
Like
Blade
it's
Runner
like
in it, yep.
it's almost like this could be the Blade Runner 3 or
Family version of Blade Runner.
I don't know. There
Where
was,
it
it was
doesn't
pretty.
kill- where it
They don't
doesn't
have this
kill
much
people.
dread in Family though.
Yeah, but
Yes.
Blade Runner don't the replicants like kill people? So I mean, there's that. But
Yeah, but ultimately they didn't. They just wanted to live. They wanted their species to survive.
Yes.
I was on
anyway,
on the robots.
yeah, I think most of the crowd enjoyed it, so it was a good outing
Yeah.
for Cuff.
Yeah, it
and look
was.
forward to next week
I loved it.
with X. which
Except for
I will
neither
alone
Bryce
be,
or I will
I
get
will
to see.
alone be there for.
Yes, you
Yeah,
will.
but
It is coming to
I'll
theaters.
see it. I'll see it like right after.
There you go.
Yes, you will.
Well, a few days after.
All right, are you ready?
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Now, my rage this week could easily go to the fact that we didn't need another Batman.
We don't need another Batman. We don't need another way home.
Let's not bring up any copyright issues.
That's right. We just need to go beyond the Batman dome,
Beyond the Batman.
especially because the dome scene was the worst. No,
It was
I
horrible,
could.
wasn't it?
It was so
That
awful.
stupid
It was
arena
this.
scene. Oh
yeah,
my God.
That was just like the icing on the cake for
wrecked
me.
it It could have been Mondo for me if it wasn't for that.
How
find
could
that
you?
hard to believe.
How this was like one step.
Oh, it's
This is
good.
one step above a Liam Neeson movie.
It was so
It was that
far of a-
stupid.
It was really good, except for a couple
no
little things that kind
but
of
that-
sunk it.
This isn't even my rage. My actual
What
rage.
is your rage, Jim?
My actual rage is once again Putin. Until he fucking stops
Yes,
invading
I get
Ukraine,
it.
he is my rage. That's it. That's all I have this week.
Fair enough.
And Batman. Fucking hated that movie.
It was good, but it wasn't great.
It was awful.
It was all right.
It was awful.
My rage is going to involve Batman, though.
Oh, good.
Stuff that I'm pretty lazy, so it's
Why
something I already brought up. So.
Why Ben Affleck wasn't in it?
Ben
That's his
Affleck.
rage. My
That's
rage
his
is the
rage.
Batfleck isn't in
My,
there.
my rage is that Ben Affleck has wrecked Batman for me forever because Ben
me
Affleck
too.
is so fantastic in the role that no one can ever measure up. That's actually not my rage, but that's actually good rage. Thanks for.
Actually, my rage may be the fact that Robert Pattinson is so much better than Ben Affleck.
Oh, nobody's better than Ben Affleck at anything.
Okay.
At least when it comes to.
In your mind.
At least when it comes to on-screen. Finest actor.
You know, if I
Mine
didn't have
or
such a
any
big
other's
meal.
generation.
Get on with it. Some people
My
have
rage
things
this
to do.
week.
Oh, this is coming from the man who's going to have a 7-hour Murman Minute.
No, I will not.
I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, my rage this week is Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot. If you have to don a fat suit in order to play the Penguin or any other role for that matter, then you should not be cast in that role. There are plenty of actors with the body type to play the Penguin, but instead some skinny Irishman gets the nod. He did not bring anything to the role that someone such as I mentioned before, Vincent D'Onofrio could not have brought.
Yep.
Just as well, without having to stuff up a suit full of padding.
But okay, so here's a question.
Yes.
For sure he was wearing a fat suit and he didn't do like
Yes.
he didn't
Yes.
gain all the weight like
Yeah.
Christian
Yeah.
Bale.
And-
he didn't do a Christian
No,
Bale on
he
us?
didn't do a
Okay, well
Christian
then
Bale on
that's
us.
then I'm on rage
From
with
the
that.
interview that I saw, it took 4 hours to put him into makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a reason to rage.
Stupid.
Oh, sorry. That's another reason to rage about this.
That's the only one. Wow, that and the arena scene where what was with
And the entire
flooding?
movie.
The water does not work that
Remember
way.
when the whole movie was a PG rated
No, I kind of liked
mess?
the movie. It was good for.
So is it
And it kind
because
of went by pretty quickly.
I know you've said lately
I
that your
honestly-
brain's
three-
not fully
3
operational.
hours was like, wow, that was 3 hours.
It felt like 7.
God.
But I know you've said lately
good.
that your brain isn't fully operational. So I'm wondering if it's
Yeah, I believe
if
that.
the detective story that was so simply played out was just so easy for you to follow? That's what you enjoyed about it?
No, I enjoyed. Honestly, Paul Dano. Like,
He was
just
great.
so fantastic.
Yes.
In it. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I thought the score was tremendous. I really enjoyed most of the shots. I thought it was just. I could have sat there and just kind of watched it with no sound, and it would have been great. It was a very good-looking movie.
It was. I'll give you that.
There was a lot that I really.
But the movie itself was terrible.
There was some stuff in there that I had problems with, but overall, it was good. It was meh. It was a superhero movie.
So it's
Meh.
rage. For you, they're
This
meh.
is your rage
For me,
moment,
it's rage.
so-
Anyways,
So Colin Farrell, get back into After Yang and get out of the Penguin
so
suit.
crazy. Eh? He goes from. We watched 2 Colin Farrell movies, and
Yeah,
one
we
was
did.
fantastic. The other one,
Rage
wasn't.
subsiding.
Screw that.
Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
I was cut off there. I could have gone on for another 10 minutes.
Sure glad you
were
didn't.
done.
It is written, the meek shall inherit the earth, but not on my watch. I am King Asilas. I wasn't born to be a king, but America needed something democracy could no longer give her. And so, like a chess master, I made my moves with anticipation and bravado. This is not just my story, nor simply about my rise to power. This is a story about our world and the monsters that control governments. What happens when the monsters cannot control me? The Rise of King Asilas. Listen on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. Visit theriseofkingasilas.com.
Oh, baby.
Interesting.
Oh, baby. You know what time it is? The Merman
Multiple minutes.
multiple minutes.
Bryce is our superhero right now.
Bryce.
He managed to open a window, so.
You know, if the superhero movie was called Bryce, it would be a Mondo
Be
right now.
Amanda. Well, Bryce,
probably-
you
Is this
said
part
it.
3? We're finally
No.
at part 3?
No, you gotta wait another week for that one.
Oh, God. Kill me now. Oh,
Colin Farrell.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've piqued my interest.
I am also very excited right now.
This week, we saw 2 films starring the Irish actor. Though I challenge anybody who saw the Batman to pick him out of a crowd with all that makeup on. This is coming up to St. Patrick's Day next week. Thought I'd take a look at his catalog of films. I've always had a love-hate relationship with his movies. And I'm only going to talk about the movies that I've seen, though there are several good
that
ones
you've
I have-
liked
that
or
I've-
that you just saw?
Period. That I've
Okay.
seen. I haven't seen everything. I've heard The Lobster is good. I haven't seen that one.
Loved
Lobster's
it.
great. It's Mondo.
And
Mondo.
he's actually made over 50 feature films.
Nice.
First, the
We're going to
bad-
rate all yours, by the way.
First, the bad/ugly.
All right, let's hear it.
That's it.
Starting with the Ben Affleck piece of crap, Daredevil.
That was
meh.
rage.
Even if I don't openly
I
despise
didn't
Ben
mind it.
Affleck and saw this
It was
film
terrible.
mainly
was
because of the Evanescence song, Colin Farrell was at his hammy overacting worst in this film.
He was bad in this.
So
and
many
the movie was
cheesy
terrible.
lines in this one.
It was all right.
And Ben Affleck was
It was
also
meh.
awful.
It's a superhero movie. It's
Next
meh.
up, the one I have the most rage for, which we've already talked about, Alexander.
Oh, God,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a rage.
We've already gone over this, but
I keep on blocking it out of my
I just
memory.
want to add a couple things. First, my middle name is Alexander, and I've been obsessed with Alexander the Great since junior high.
So you
That's
must
how
have
much
really-
I was looking forward to
Yeah,
this
you must have been
film.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Farrell and Miss Jolie for completely ruining it for me.
But they didn't make it, did they? They just
No.
They were in it.
they ruined
They
it.
destroyed the legend.
Well, I don't think they did. I think it was the director.
Well, whoever directed it then.
That was Oliver
They were still
Stone,
terrible.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
there you go.
Oh, yeah, something.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
think
Stone.
it was.
And then thirdly, Total Recall / Miami Vice. Take your pick.
Yeah.
Both were unnecessary remakes from the 80s.
Yes, they're both
Well,
rage.
Miami Vice was awful.
Badly done, tired,
And
predictable stories.
Total Recall didn't need to be
Colin
remade.
should have said no. Okay, enough of this crap. On to the good stuff.
All right,
stuff.
good stuff.
I like
First
good
up,
stuff.
Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
Mondo.
it's
Though the stars of this film were Tom Hanks as Walt Disney and Emma Thompson as Mary Poppins author P.L. Travers, Farrell put in a solid performance as her alcoholic father that she based the character of Mr. Banks on.
Nice.
That was a nice journey through his life.
Sweet.
Next up, Steven Spielberg's Vision of the Future, Minority Report, starring Tom Cruise.
My boy, Tommy Cruise.
Was made better with Colin Farrell as the government
It was Mondo.
stoolie investigating and eventually
Mondo.
chasing him.
Super
It
Mondo.
was a good role for him.
He was great. Tom
Next
was
up,
great.
one which will be controversial, Phone Booth.
Yeah, somebody
it's
put it in our rage bag.
Yeah.
Not a popular choice. I
liked it.
enjoyed the action in this one.
Yeah, I did too.
Trapped in a phone booth by a sniper and forced to admit all his sins to the people
I think
that
it was
he's hurt.
Amy. Amy, you're wrong. Phone booth
Bonus
is good.
casting of Tommy Douglas's grandson, Kiefer Sutherland, as the nasty voice at the other end of the line.
Yes.
I love my Kiefer.
He does a little too much, I might
Step
add.
one, I'm sure we can all agree on. The Gentleman.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan of Guy Ritchie or Hugh Grant for that matter.
I'm
I'm
a
a
huge fan
huge
of
fan of
both.
both.
This film was a joyride for the senses. Though it boasts a killer ensemble like Grant and Matthew McConaughey, Farrell's coach steals the film. Best line that I can repeat in public. You are embarrassing yourself here, lads. Kids stab, girls shoot, boys punch. Grown-ups fight with their heads. That's where the real battle is. Up here in the gray. Now wake up, lads. Life's quick and you're slow. Life's hard on a bone top. This is before he beats the shit out of a couple of kids in a
Nice.
sandwich shop or whatever. And number one that I loved, In Bruges.
Yes.
It's so good.
Colin
is
We were just
Farrell.
talking about the director not that
Colin
long
Farrell
ago.
and Brendan Gleeson as two hitmen hiding out in Belgium after
Loved
a
it.
botched job and hating every minute of it.
Loved it.
So
Fabulous.
good. And that is all.
Can't believe we
I
all
got.
three of us love that
There
movie.
you go.
One of us should have hated it.
Mondo.
There's a Mondo. All right. The moment you've all been waiting for,
Have we?
and lucky for me, I got to rewatch this movie twice.
Twice.
Yeah, because I fell asleep watching it the first time, and then I just rewatched the whole movie again.
I think it's always also 3 hours long.
Yeah,
Is it?
it's long,
It's not 3
long,
hours,
but
is
it doesn't feel long.
No.
And I kind of wish. Well, I won't say it until after. So we've got Peter Dinklage, Frances McDormand, and Sam Rockwell. All three were in 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. And I think it's pretty obvious who is the most mesmerizing in this. It was all her movie. You all know I'm going to vote Frances McDormand. She was brilliant, and that's my vote.
Okay, I thought I was voting Frances McDormand, but I'm Sam Rockwell.
He was good.
He was fantastic.
Why
He
did
was
we- Why
fantastic.
did we put Peter Dinklage in this then?
We did.
Like, well, no, I mean, why? It's like,
Because
yeah,
he was in
it
the movie.
barely. I mean, it wasn't his strongest.
That's the way
He's
it goes
still in the movie.
sometimes.
It doesn't matter.
So yeah, nothing
So
changes.
when nothing changes, this is okay.
I'm fine with it.
You know what? The more we try to take people out, the more I'm like, I'm okay.
okay
These
with it.
people are actually mesmerizing.
They need to all be on it.
Well,
still.
unless we come with one that isn't. Now that Christopher Walken is in the mix,
Yes, we're gonna
may
start
be-
doing
we
some.
might-
It's a walking.
it's a walking off. Okay, so on top of that, as I mentioned last week,
Yes.
we have to talk about Julia Stiles.
What are we talking about?
Do we?
Well, we could talk about all kinds of things.
Okay, well.
In
lay it
particular,
on.
I find her repulsive.
Nope.
So
Not gonna put her on the repulsive list.
all right. Well, okay. Well, let's go past that. Let's go with her last 8 movies,
Let's
shall
do
we?
that. Actually, I'm curious about this.
All right.
I don't know that I've seen any of them. Maybe I have. I don't know.
All right. So, The God Committee.
Never heard of it.
It was a rage.
Who was in it? Anybody?
It's a bunch of people like Kelsey Grammer,
Oh God.
Kelsey
yeah.
Grammer.
Janine Garofalo.
Uh,
Yeah. I dare you to watch that one. All right. Then she was in a movie called Hustlers, which was a rage.
was that the
That
one
was
with J-Lo?
I'm pretty sure. It's
That's
J-Lo.
the one with J-Lo.
It was meh.
Okay, so it was a rage for me.
Like the dancing scene.
It was fine.
There's a movie
It wasn't
called...
terrible.
It was awful. Then there's a movie called Trouble. She's in with Angelica Houston, Bill Pullman, David Morse.
Didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. So that could be one. Then she was in a movie called The Drowning, which was a rage. Is anyone writing this down?
No, but that's okay.
Why is it okay?
I didn't see The Drowning either. Because right now there's just that one movie that we got to watch.
Okay, and so then she was in Jason Bourne, which to me was a meh.
It was
Isn't
meh.
she in all the Bournes?
Yeah.
It was meh.
And then she was in a movie called 1155, which I did not see.
I did not see either. Man.
And it's got Victor Almanzar is the biggest. She doesn't have a big role in it. Oh, John Leguizamo was in it. It's got a IMDb rating of not good. Let's put it that way. How far are we down now?
I don't know. I thought you were counting.
That's about 6.
You're the one with the pencil.
I don't
Remember
have
the magic
I don't
pencil?
have one.
Here's the magic pencil. And then she was in a movie called Misconduct.
That sounds awesome.
Okay. Well, that's a rage just for its title.
It stars Josh Duhamel, Anthony Hopkins, Al Pacino. Yeah, we might have to discuss Anthony.
Why were they
That's a
in that?
rage. I don't have to see it. It's a rage.
Then there's a TV movie, which we can't count.
No.
The Great Gilly Hopkins.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, I think we've gone 8, though.
Okay, I don't understand why I gotta watch it. Obviously, this is amounting to me having to watch a Julia Stiles movie.
I've watched 2 of hers lately, and they both made me vomit.
Go back to the top of the list where I gave something a man. I'll watch something beside it.
Okay, so The God Committee.
Right?
Which is a rage.
Whatever. I didn't see
Hustlers, which to me was a rage.
Okay, what's the next one?
Trouble.
Okay, I gotta watch Trouble or The God Committee.
And then The Drowning.
It doesn't matter. It's Trouble. If Trouble or The God Committee is a man, then she's not on the list.
That's true.
So
it's you that has to watch it.
Yeah, whatever.
You know the rule.
Yeah,
You're sticking up for her.
I am sticking up for her. She's not that bad. She's fine.
She's repulsive.
Nah, she's not. You're just still poopy about having to watch The Prince and Me, and that's his.
That was the worst movie ever made.
Exactly, and it's skewing your opinion of
it.
It
is a little bit skewing my opinion. The other thing that we have to do today is we have to remove Paul Dano from Undoubted.
Why?
Because both Murray and I gave the Batman a rage.
I can't believe you guys gave him.
I can't believe you gave it a meh because it was terrible. I'm sorry, Paul Dano. Up until this movie, you've been Undoubted.
It didn't even occur to me that he was coming off the list.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what your rages was doing. Wow, that's
and I didn't realize it
poopy.
till after the fact because I was like, wait a minute, Paul Dano was either mesmerizing or he's Undoubted.
No.
And then when I looked,
no,
he was,
because I put him forward.
And
I was very proud
he was,
of that
and
one.
that was a good one. It was really good. Then he made one of the worst movies of this year.
It was okay.
No, it was really bad.
I think
and it wasn't just a single rage. Like we could have had this vote when Murray wasn't here, and he still wouldn't have made it on.
Maybe you need to watch it again.
No,
Batman.
I never want.
I really don't.
I never want to see it ever again.
But Paul Dano's Undoubted.
No, he was Undoubted.
No.
The great Paul Dano is no longer doubted. Well, he's only got to go 8 more films, and maybe he'll be back.
There you go.
But he's going to probably be in the Batman sequel.
Well, maybe that one will be a man.
I think it'll be Mondo.
Maybe. There's hope.
Because a lot of this was. If they just could have just done
had a
few things
script.
different.
If they would have had a script that wasn't written for 12-year-old boys reading a Hardy Boys or a Nancy Drew story, then it would have been okay.
I liked it okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm not even saying then.
It was all right.
It was really bad. Or how about the scene where she reaches over the edge and pulls Batman up with her left hand?
She's got some guns, apparently.
Well, as I say, that whole sequence, everything that happened in that stupid arena needed to not happen.
To me, everything after the 2-hour mark needed not to happen.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about farewell.
We're moving on.
So long. Alvida and adieu.
There you go.
To Paul Dano. Goodbye, adieu.
That's poopy.
It's the poopy.
Okay.
Well, you know what the real poopy is?
No.
Well, last week on Rage or Dare, Jim and Bryce had the extreme privilege, some may say ironic coincidence, happen when they pulled the Sarah Jessica Parker film Sex and the City from my ice cream bucket of rage.
That was kind of really ironic how that happened.
Bryce is on his own and he gets to choose Rage or Dare. Let's check in first with Bryce and see if Sarah Jessica Parker was unfairly put into both repulsive and doubted lists, or will Sex and the City cause the boys to rethink their bad decision from the previous week, which I doubt.
Okay, here we go.
Bum bum.
Sex and the City. What was that? I'm definitely not the target audience. This was an exercise in stamina. The fact that I got through all 5 hours of it is amazing.
Wasn't it 7?
Why was it so long? Why were the characters so awful? Why were the situations so dumb? Why would anybody want to marry Carrie Bradshaw? Why would anybody want to be her friend? Why did this do well enough at the box office to spawn a sequel? Who was this made for? And this is just not a gender thing, as my girlfriend found herself asking the same questions. I hated this movie. It has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. It is apparently a comedy, yet is completely devoid of humor. It is, to borrow a phrase, it is, to borrow a phrase from Jim, a sadistic rage.
Oh, my.
You're welcome.
Oh, yes, Murray. He's going to be smiling when he hears mine. All right, so I got to say, it was so great to see Carrie and Rachel and Marcia and Jan back together in the movie version of their successful TV show. Wait a minute. That wasn't their names, was it?
I don't know.
I don't know what they're
Well, TV people in a
I know
movie.
Carrie-
I'm sure
Carrie
that's
Bradshaw.
close.
I know Kim Cattrall because she's Canadian.
I'm sure that was close, right?
Sure.
Carrie, Rachel, Marcia, and Jan? That was the ladies,
Sure,
wasn't
that
it?
Sure.
Was there a Monica in there too?
It's no, there's only just the 4 of them. Anyway, I didn't ever watch the show, but on the bright side, the Carrie person, who's both doubted and repulsive, takes a whole movie to plan a wedding, like a Brady Bunch episode that was way too long, but with sexual overtoned excitement. Imagine my surprise that this was the entire plot. I kind of wished there was more complexity, like a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, but it wasn't.
It's only 5 hours long.
Exactly. But the real big surprise was seeing the great Candice Bergen in this movie. Except that didn't last long. And it went right back to trying on clothes and
was she
reading
doing
poetry in
this?
bed and eavesdropping on lady talk about sex with their boyfriends
She's in
or
for 20
husbands
seconds.
or house shopping. Yeah, pretty much everything in this movie was something that was either repulsive to me or that I had no interest in seeing. But wait. They did more fashion shows and played dress up some more a few times. Then something happens that reminds me of Bryce.
Ooh.
Not because he would be feeling this torture also, but there's a scene that reminded me of helping him move. And for a short moment, I felt the friendship and compassion that these 4 ladies had for each other, and my heart melted a bit. Ah, Bryce, do you remember the moving day? How we were brothers in arms, tackling big TVs and furniture to bond over our aching muscles? I now know how people might have loved this movie. The friendship. No, actually, I don't know. What the people who would see the show would actually see in anything in the show, other than the softcore sex scenes. There was nothing in the least that I found remotely interesting. And the fact that the big dude guy decided to bail on the wedding last minute made completely no sense. I mean, other than it helped to create a more soap opera drama in this movie that had no real plot. Bryce, I have to ask, did this film sell you on a wedding in your near future? Maybe that's what this movie was for. Were you supposed to watch this and go, you know what's missing from my life? A wedding. Well, just as I thought, the consensus of this movie was completely awful.
I can tell by his face
Didn't
that's a big
even
no.
do anything to help Bryce out in any way. move-wise or wedding-wise. This film put me in a Mexicoma. And yeah, Murray, that's what they called a joke in this movie. They used the word Mexicoma.
Really?
Oh yeah, that was funny.
She was in a Mexicoma.
She was in a Mexicoma.
But there was one really...
She was like out and she was in
Yeah,
Mexico.
exactly. And she was like, she was in a coma. She was in Mexicoma.
Yeah, that's funny.
But there was one funny line in this movie, Bryce.
was
You
there?
were wrong. Yes.
Okay.
You shit your pants this year. Maybe you're done.
That's not funny.
I laughed because she did actually shit her pants. In case you didn't realize it, this movie was way too long, and it was a fucking rage. Thanks, Murray.
It was bad.
You know
You're
how to
welcome.
give good. You give good sadistic rage.
I do know what rage. Yes, I do.
Now, Brycey Poo,
What?
What say you?
you've got to pick rage or dare.
Oh, it can't be my turn again.
It is.
According
It's
to
always
the
your
script,
turn.
it is.
So you've got dare bag or Jim's tasty bag.
There's so many in the dare bag. When did you put stuff in there last?
I haven't really had much. We've been kind of going straight to the rages. No
Okay,
dares.
You know what? I'll take something out of the dare bag then. I'm gonna reach in.
It's probably Sex in the City too. Wouldn't that be
Sure.
even more funny?
would be
like this
really
is total
funny.
random occurrence. If this is Sex in the City too, like
I was
completely
shopping today, and I almost bought a couple more of her movies. I thought, I don't want to do that to you
Nice.
guys.
Sex in the City.
I don't believe
2.
this is even a movie.
What is it called?
What's it called?
It's called Speak to Me in Poetry.
I never heard of it.
Well, let's
Oh,
double.
let's-
Let's
let's-
fact check
Let's
it.
consult our Mr. Google. That's also copyrighted.
It's from 2012,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got
Starring-
that.
Yep.
And what is it?
and it's directed by Matthew Wilson.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
It's a comedy from the United States.
okay.
The budget was $5,000,
What?
so this is going to be good.
How are you going to find that?
Yeah,
I don't know if you're going to get to see it.
I'm pretty sure I'm not.
I kind of want, knowing you can find it. You
I
can
don't
find
think-
everything.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think you will. But,
Yeah, it stars a bunch of people that don't have pictures on their IMDb. Oh, one person has a picture on their IMDb.
but nobody we
post.
know.
Gary Clemmer plays Ron the Boss.
Yeah, I think I need to pick a backup
I
because I,
think you
can
do.
almost guarantee I'm not
You
going to be
can't
able to
find
find
it.
this.
You'll be able to find
I am
it.
almost positive you will, but sure, let's pick a
I don't
backup.
think you will.
So I will try to find it.
I know you will.
But just in case, because I don't think I'm going to find it.
I'm checking on Just Watch right now.
Yeah.
There you go. While you do that, I am going to pull out. Is this the Madonna movie?
What's it called?
Swept Away?
Yeah.
No. Is it? Yeah, maybe
Yeah, it is. Yep.
That isn't the Guy Ritchie one, right?
Yep, that's the one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. Remember when you stopped her from being on any of our bad lists?
Any of our lists?
I think somebody listened and said, "You know what?
stopped
You
somebody from
deserve.
being Madonna on our
You
list?
you deserve."
She should be
Well,
doubted all the
it
time.
might go back into the bag.
No, it's 2002. It's Madonna,
Yeah.
directed by Guy Ritchie.
Who she was married to.
If
for a
I
short
can
time.
if I can't find the other one.
Yes, and you can get it on Amazon, Swept Away. So
Oh, yeah, no, I-
3.6 out of 10 on IMDb.
I'll have no problem finding it.
Madonna,
that's not a concern.
Bruce Greenwood, Jean Triplehorn, Elizabeth Banks. Oh, Elizabeth, why?
why, Elizabeth? Why?
You should be going Bruce Greenwood. Why?
Like Elizabeth.
Aren't you a big
Oh,
Bruce
and Jennifer
Greenwood
Aniston's in it. Ah, Bruce Greenwood's okay. I almost met him once.
fan? All right, Swept Away. Yeah, it can't be that bad. It's
You're
five. It's
wrong.
got a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And a 3.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Have you not actually seen this?
No, I haven't seen
I
it.
haven't.
Oh well, then you're in for a treat.
There you go.
I almost watched it because I was like Guy Ritchie.
Yeah,
Should be all right. It's a comedy romance.
these were the dark days.
adventure film.
Which kind of does
Well,
speak
yeah,
to
when
Bryce.
he was
does.
married to her,
He
right?
does like. He does like romance
He had,
stories.
he had his dark moments too when he married her.
I haven't seen it, so I'm looking forward to it. It'll be all right. I'm sure.
Now, we may or may not be back next week because it's not looking good that we're going to get to see any movies in
There's
cinemas.
nothing coming out.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
So we might have to
and
wait 2
one of
weeks
the-
just the
This is
Ryan
gonna be
Reynolds
hear-
thing.
to
that's
have
one streaming
Bryce
movie.
review that.
Now it's in theaters and streaming.
I
It
didn't see
is.
it in theater.
It's coming out on Wednesday in the theater and coming out on Friday on streaming. Apparently.
Oh, yummers. All right.
Anyway, So
Well,
That is a
There you
true
go.
story. It
This
will,
was
it will be at your local theater.
this was a real satisfying episode for all involved, especially me. I'm usually always satisfied. Well, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to Extended Film Rage family, who you can find in our show notes. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. And make sure to get your awards t-shirts before the Oscars come out so you can have your voice heard. We are always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe everywhere. Or send us an email to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dares to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, like the one Bryce is going to have to watch this coming week.
I might watch them both.
You might watch them both. There you go. But no matter what you do, please make us rage. Please. Please. That's it for this week. Rage on!
Rage on.